The full-time review show on Alibeg ABTV is supported by and brought to you by Saltire Energy, the global market leader in specialist drilling equipment rental, and also by Craig International, who have 10 offices strategically placed all over the world, from America to Southeast Asia, Australia, the Middle East, and of course, closer to home. If you are looking for global procurement services, look no further than Craig International, and I strongly recommend you check out their brand new website. These are the pre-game scenes. Video comes courtesy of Paul Hannon on AFC Community Trust Day, and wasn't the display absolutely magnificent and fitting of a very special group of people? And wasn't it a special way to win the game? Ode de Back with a 90+1 winner on his home debut and his first goal for the club. And didn't it lift the 16,993 who were in attendance at Pittodrie yesterday? A huge win and a huge 3 points, which was recognised by the fans after the game. And again, my thanks to Paul Hannon for sending this video through of the players taking an ovation from the home support. So this is what it means to the top of the table. So we stay in third position after Dundee United and Hibs both won and keep on our coattails. Hibs have now gone 13 games unbeaten, which is their longest ever run since 1978. But the top two both lost. And there's a lot of talk, particularly in the Glasgow media, that Mr. Clement is about to be fired. I've just had a quick look on their website. Oh, give me the shivers. To have a look, there is no official word yet. So he still remains the Rangers manager. Here's your headlines. My thanks to Don's Collector for allowing me to show this fantastic graphic that he put together of all the headlines after yesterday's game. Ode in the sun. 3 points in the bag. There we go. Well, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't great. But I tell you what, I'll absolutely take it. We always knew it was going to be an ugly game of football, and by God was it. A little bit later, Andrew Budge and I are going to break the game down, and we're going to try and show you exactly why the tactics deployed by Derek McInnes was to stop us from having any type of flow throughout the game. So look out for that a little bit later. We've got some maps to show you from the game. And we're also going to heap praise on a certain Kevin Nisbet. So I hope you can stick around to have a wee look at that later. But of course, this is the full-time review show. This is your opportunity to come on and have your say, and I will read out as many comments as I possibly can tonight. So I am restricted to half an hour tonight, so we'll try and get through as much as we can. So the team news. Oh, I was so close. I was so close to getting it right. The gaffer made just the one change, and that was in goal. Dimitar Mitov came in goal and had a fairly decent run out, I thought, yesterday. And to be honest with you, when I think about it, I'm glad that he did. I'm glad that he got 90 minutes under his belt because when I was thinking about it further, to chuck him straight into the Celtic game might not have been the best ideas. So just to give him a game under his belt was probably the best thing to do. So here's your match stats before we welcome Andrew. So 60.8% possession to their 39.2. We had 10 shots in total to their 9, of which only 3 were on target to their 4. 32 touches in their box, which was more than half considering they had 14. 290 accurate passes overall to their 144. So before I welcome you guys, and before we hear from the manager as well, let's bring on Andrew Budge and let's go through the analysis for you. So this segment is roughly 10 minutes long. We had a lot to talk about, and I really hope that what Andrew has put together for you makes complete and utter sense in terms of how yesterday's pattern of play went. So welcome back to the show, Andrew Budge. Hi, mate. Good to see you as always. Thank you so much for jumping on. So, we've got quite a lot to discuss today, but before we get into the analysis and the illustrations, just give us your general thoughts on the victory yesterday.
Yeah, first and foremost, a huge result. Turned out to be a really crucial 3 points given how the other results landed. I didn't see Hibs winning, so it really, really positive to get the 3 points and hopefully something to build on. In terms of the performance, look, I don't think it was brilliant. It was quite a tough watch at times. We struggled to get in any form of rhythm, but I think that was partially down to sort of Kilmarnock's game plan. But I mean, we got there in the end, and yeah, a great start for the new striker. So yeah, brilliant 3 points.
Okay, we always knew it was going to be a difficult game. I think we always knew it was going to be an ugly game. And I think we all kind of expected how Derek McInnes was going to set up against us. So, what you've done here is you've put an illustration together to show how their tactics disrupted our flow of the game. Can you just talk us through this?
Yeah, sure. So for the analysis, I thought I'd start with how Kilmarnock approached the game because I think that had quite a big bearing on how the rhythm was during the match. So looking at them, we kind of knew they'd be incredibly direct with it being a McInnes team, but I think they were even more direct than I thought. And again, as I said, that contributed to us struggling to get rhythm in the game. I saw their pass accuracy was sort of 57%, which is quite a bit lower than their average for the season of 68. So I think that shows us how direct they were going. Again, long balls, accurate long balls were 31 yesterday, which is higher than their average for the season. So they really did focus on going direct. Again, which makes sense given our sort of frailty in recent months from long balls and going direct. So I can completely see their game plan. What we've brought up on screen is the pass map for Kilmarnock's side. You can see the sort of players dotted across the pitch, and what it only shows is there'll be an arrow and three or more successful passes between players. So you actually don't see that many arrows in the pitch, which kind of says a lot, to be honest. Mainly, what kind of stood out to me was there's a lot of sort of longer passing. There's not really any sort of shorter build up at all. It was lots of long diagonals, as we can see there, to be honest. So I think that really was quite a big bearing on the game, how they set up, trying to play off second balls. But to be honest, I think, as you said, the two defenders did really well.
Yeah, I have to be honest. I think Tobers and Knusta's, their partnership is developing really, really well. And it's like they've played together for more than the amount of games that they have for the Dons. And I think it's boding really well for the future. But here, again, you've given us an illustration of just how well their partnership is now working together and how well they're defending as a unit.
Yeah, completely agree. You wouldn't think these guys are just in the door last month, and they really do seem to be striking up a really, really good positive performance or partnership. So, yeah, really, really good to see. Yeah, yesterday was always going to be a testing game for any centre back pairing, but I thought they were both aerially dominant. They really sort of were really aggressive and going for first contacts, won lots of headers, lots of interceptions, and it was a sort of complete contrast to how we saw us play against them earlier in the season. So yeah, really, really positive. Where I think you can really see the impact of their sort of defensive solidity is in the pass map or the shot map we've got on screen here. So you can see it in both ends, the Kilmarnock shots and the Aberdeen shots. And what really struck out to me was just only three shots in the box for Kilmarnock yesterday. They really were limited to sort of long range efforts. And I think a lot of that bears down to them playing long and just not having much success from it. Gnoster and Tobers really did win so many of their headers and so many of their battles, and it really did restrict this number of opportunities they did have in the box. If you compare that to sort of our numbers at the other end, I thought we had a lot more success and we had a lot more sort of touches in the box, as you sort of touched on at the start of the show. But yeah, I think that really shows how much of an impact the two defenders had on the game.
Moving on to our own passing throughout the game, I have to be honest, I was starting to get slightly frustrated at the wayward passes yesterday. And I know it's still a work in progress, and I understand that. But you've put up our pass map here. Again, just tell us what this is telling us.
Yeah, so very similar, just flipped for the Aberdeen side. Sort of directions of passes are shown between players, and again, only if you see a line between two players that annotates whether there's been three or more successful passes between them. Um, Quite a sharp contrast to the Kilmarnock pass map. You see a lot more shorter build up in the centre of the pitch between sort of Tobers, Knoster, and the two midfielders, and Nilsson and Palaversa. What I think we have noticed in recent weeks is we're kind of seeing a slight change or quite a noticeable change in our build-up actually. Mitov are doing have been going a lot more direct, particularly from sort of goal kicks or with ball at their feet. There was a bit more of shorter build-up yesterday between sort of the defenders and the goalkeeper, but they're definitely more willing to go long, and I think that kind of just reflects maybe the sort of lacking confidence we've had in possession in recent months. We've kind of been burnt a few times playing out from the back, so I think it is good to see us mixing our game up a little bit. I think there are definitely areas to improve in our build up. While we've got the pass map up, I think there's a few other things that are really interesting from this. You can see Keskinen 81 again playing a really central role, which we talked about in recent weeks, with Jensen providing the width. Number 28, he's again looks like he's more central, but he was shifted to left back again yesterday. So I think he was really high and wide again. And even just looking at Morris yesterday when he came on really, really wide, number 20. I've liked Keskinen in that more central role, and he has had some success there. But I do think we sometimes need a little bit more width. And I thought Morris had a really positive impact when he came on yesterday. And then the positions of sort of Nisbet and Pape would also want to draw them out. Nisbet coming in deep here, and then you can also see Pape sort of in behind, which is kind of the reverse of what we thought it would be. We thought sort of Pape was more the 10 and Nisbet being sort of the forward striker. But yeah, so I thought really sort of interesting things you can see from the pass map there.
Well, you've set that up quite nicely to talk about Kevin Nisbet because, and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn here, but I have seen quite a few posts where I think his performances have been a little bit underappreciated. And I think what people are missing is, yes, I understand he's been brought in to score goals. He's an 18-yard box player. But what we're starting to see with these illustrations is that his general work when we don't have the ball and his general work when we do have the ball maybe is going a little bit underestimated. What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree. And when he first signed, I really did think he would just be a sort of penalty box striker. But I think I've seen a lot more to his game than I thought he had. He's been asked in recent months to drop deep quite a lot, and that maybe got some criticism. But I think that started to work in recent weeks, potentially due to sort of slight change in system and some changes in personnel. Before, when he was dropping deep, you'd have Clarkson playing with him, or maybe McGrath when he wasn't injured. And I think they weren't really providing the runs in behind to help him sort of play off him as a central striker. Whereas more recently, you've had Pape in the team who's far more willing to run in behind. So they're kind of working better as a tandem, one coming deep and one going in behind. So I do think, yeah, Nisbet's been really positive in recent weeks. And I thought he had a really good game yesterday. And the example the first one we want to bring up is you can see the amount of space that he's getting in the centre of the pitch when he's dropping deep. And what that comes out of is the two central midfielders for Kilmarnock. McInnes has clearly instructed them to man mark Palaversa and Nilsson. So all throughout the game yesterday, wherever one of them two went deep or came short, they were both being followed really sort of diligently. And that sort of focus on those two players left huge gaps in behind for Nisbet to drop into. And I thought he did a really good job of linking the play. So in both instances, it's Jensen on the ball, picking up on the sort of right hand flank and just pinging these balls sort of really vertically, really good progressive play into Nisbet's feet. What we can see from the second example when we build that up is exact same sort of pressing from Kilmarnock, pushing really high onto Palaversa and Nilsson. There's the space in behind again. They're two central midfielders for Nisbet to drop into. And what we can see with Pape and Keskinen is both them really willing runners in behind, which I don't think we had in previous weeks. I think he would have been more focusing on playing the ball backwards to another midfielder rather than sort of playing it around the corner and really testing the opposition defence. So I think that worked really well yesterday. And I thought Nisbet's game, his all-round game was really positive, and he sort of created a few good chances for Keskinen in the first half. He had a quite maybe fortunate assist for the goal for chesting it down for the new striker. But yeah, I thought he had a really positive performance, and hopefully more to see.
Just to finish off, Tuesday on Celtic. I have the fear about this game because they're a little bit of a wounded animal now. But I have to be honest, if we can defend like we have done in recent weeks, I don't think it will be the cricket score that many already, particularly in the central belt, are already predicting. But it's not going to be easy, is it? Let's be honest.
No, when I saw the result for Hibs, yeah, it's just not what you want because so often you see Celtic or Rangers lose. Maybe not Rangers as much, but Celtic losing, and they'll be right up for it the next game. With some choice words from Rodgers, I imagine. Yeah, I mean, I need very little encouragement to get excited for an Aberdeen game, so I'm quite positive to be honest. It's a bit of a free hit in
Yeah.
recent form. Hopefully, see Daba come on. I'd really like to see him play with Nisbet. And just if we just test them, some of these runners in behind, like we saw yesterday, and just have a good go at them, and let's just see what happens.
Exactly. It's like what we always say, just lay a glove on them. That's all we ask.
Yep,
Just lay a glove on
yep,
them and make it difficult for them.
yeah,
Right, fella. So we'll see how we get on Tuesday. Thanks for coming on tonight, and we'll see you again for the Wednesday review show.
yeah. Perfect. Cheers, Ali.
Brilliant. Thanks, mate. Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Ta-da, ta-da. Thanks so much, Andrew. Right, let's get the thoughts of the manager.
It was a difficult game. I think it's a game that's difficult to get up to rhythm. It's a start-stop a lot in the game, so it's not easy to play. But the good thing is the spirit the team showing now together with our supporters. They never give in, the fight to the last minute and get the important 3 points for us today. Some players play out of position, they take responsibility to help and support the team. So the subs come in and make an impact again, and the team spirit, even before and after the game, is strong. And this spirit talk about responsibility and never give up inside the games, even if it's not the perfect game like the game how we play, but it's also a difficult game to play. So, but we stay and we fight to the last minutes and we get the winning goal. It was.
My thanks as always to the football club for allowing me to show you that video. Right. I think it's about time we got you on. Richard Mickey McMillan says, well, I hope that's us back. Come on, your Reds. Norman Baker says, hello, Ali and everyone. Good 3 points, and even if we did leave it late, I thought the bag looked good. I would like to see him start ahead of Nisbet on Tuesday. Gordon Keith Ritchie says, evening all. Great to get a win yesterday. As how much times have we played well and got beat? Even the clown in charge. Couldn't give Kilmarnock a goal now. Onwards and upwards. Hughes on, wishing everybody a good evening. He says, how bad did Derek McInnes make that game yesterday? Every trick in the book. It was like watching AFC in his final 2 seasons. Neilm's on, wishing everybody a good evening. Neil says, just as well, only have to type throat bit sore shed bouncing yesterday. Neepede says, I bet I'm not the first person to say it, but yabba, dabba, do. Roddy Keenan is on, wishing everybody a good evening. There are so many comments about the man who was in charge yesterday. I'm not going to read too many of them out because I can't and I'll get into trouble. But he certainly did not have his best day, did he? Deary, deary me. Bruce Strother says, evening dandies, poor game but a great result. Defence looks a lot more solid now and we have a new hero in O'Day. Neil says, I thought O'Day and Nisbet did absolutely fine. Neil Sinclair's on, wishing everybody a good evening. Roddy Keenan came back to say clean sheet and a terrific poacher's finish from Uday. Martin Smith says, like the look of the bag, his movement was good and touch was there. Walsh killed the game with his constant whistling, giving us no rhythm. Let's not talk about the non-contact penalty. Honestly. Hugh Brown says, Papa was poor yesterday. No way he starts on Tuesday. Too much of a luxury player. Neil Sinclair says, feels good to be back to winning ways. Graham Byron says, evening Ali and fellow dandies. The last 10 minutes in each half was the only exciting bit as Kilmarnock were time wasting and throwing themselves down to hold up play a lot in the game. Yabba dabba do, he says. Paul Donaldson is on. Hi Paul. He says, a relief to get a late winner yesterday. I thought it was surely going to end 0-0 when Kevin Nisbet hit the post. David Horn says, evening Ali and fellow dandies, another enjoyable Saturday night after the Dons win again, and long may it continue. Suze is on, saying hi, as is David Gold Rally Vids. Hugh came back to say, I'm not writing off the Celtic game, but next Sunday's game against United is huge. You're absolutely right, Hugh. Barry Cole says, evening dandies, it wasn't a pretty game and Killy came with a game plan, but we got there in the end. And how bad was the man in the middle? Neil Sinclair says, how long has it been since Celtic and Rangers both got beat on the same weekend? Yep. Jim Balfour's on, evening all. Nice to see Jimmy almost smiling again. Chilling says, fit like. Sheep on Fire says, good evening. David Scott says, hi Ali, we can definitely see progress with the team again. New signing starting to look really good, he says. Angela Clark says, yabba dabba done it, Ali. Deck G says, evening Ali and Dandies. The boys fought to the end for the points. Killy tried to disrupt the game at every opportunity. Thank God for yabba dabba do. I'm not sure how long this yabba dabba bit's going to last, considering his name's pronounced the bag. But it's a bit of fun. Keep it going. Why the hell not? Alan Smart says, talking about, the referee, the non-penalty, the mix-up with the cards. Just, oh dear. Dearie me. Barry came on, though, just to sort of confirm that he mixed it up with Palaversa, which he did, to be fair, which obviously explains a lot. Sheep on Fire says the team is starting to look like a team and not just a group of players riding their luck. Nisbet looks like he could have a decent partnership with the bag. Alan Smart says, if Mackenzie has a fitness problem, I feel we should go with Shinnie at left back with Jensen on the right. West Coast Dawn says, another win. Great start for our new striker. Neil Sinclair says, the last 15 minutes of the game was a super example of our team playing good football. Yeah, Barry Cole was reminding everybody that when Nicky went off, he had an ice pack on his shoulder. Can't see him making Tuesday either, if I'm being honest. But to be honest with you, I don't think he would have started anyway. And obviously, if Jack can't make it, then yeah, I can see Alexander right side. I can see Graham on the other with Tobers and Knussers in the middle. Yep. Angela Hamilton says, hi everyone, nervous about Tuesday. I want to be hopeful, but it's hard. The musical box says, thought Nisbet was poor, still trying to make telling passes instead of being on the end of them. David Gold is asking if there's any updates on the injuries. Not as yet, David, I'm afraid. Neil Sinclair is asking, are you going to do a preview show tomorrow for the Celtic game? I certainly am. We'll be here at 19:03 as normal. David Gold says, unfortunately, I can see us getting thumped on Tuesday. Ugh. Scott McLean says, yesterday's starting 11 is our best 11 and he hopes that Jack is okay. Barry Cole says, can't see JT changing it that much. In reply to Hugh's message that said he thinks there'll be quite a few changes on Tuesday. Expect Mackenzie, Pape, Nisbet and Urkels all to drop out for Shinnie, Clarkson, Uday and possibly Dorrington. Yeah, I can see your point here, but I'm not sure he'll make 1, 2, 3, 4 changes. Let's see. Kenny Salvin says, great to win and great not to concede. Gary Findlay's on, wishing everybody a good evening. Charles Craig says, no point dwelling on the ref yesterday. In Scotland, teams are allowed by officials to spoil matches by taking excessive time to restart. This allows them to recover when set up to frustrate. Jim Balfour says, I'm fairly sure someone said it's the first time since 1998 that the Terrible Twins have lost on the same day. Wow, 1998. Scott McLean is suggesting Uday in for Pape, only change for the Celtic game. Let's go for it. Kaiser's on. Wishing you all a good evening. A conflict of interest tonight with red-tinted glasses. Right. I wanted to show you something. Because today's a very special day for our Gothenburg legend John McMaster, who was born on this day back in 1955. John played 315 games for the club, scoring 33 goals, winning a host of honours. He is celebrating his 70th birthday today. What an absolute legend and an absolutely brilliant man as well. One of the nicest guys that you will ever meet. Don't forget, guys, if you've enjoyed tonight's show so far, give us a wee like. Thank you for your comments that have come in so far. And don't forget to give us a wee subscribe. We continue to build. I hope you can see the improvements. And if you do fancy it, press that little subscribe button and it will just give you a notification when we go on air. It's not going to cost you a penny. Not a penny. So please, I'd be very, very thrilled if you would consider it. Right, hang on, let me jump back up. Yeah, a lot of you now talking about spammer, John McMaster. Musical Box, great player, John McMaster. Scott McLean says, quite chuffed I have the same birthday as John McMaster. A wee bit younger, mind you. So many happy returns, Scott. Hope you've had a great day. Kaiser's asking, do we have an option to buy the bag? Barry Cole came straight in and said, yes, we do. So there we go. Musical Box said, I've subscribed twice, but they won't let me. Really? Kaiser 1903, lovely little post, mate. Free kick against Bayern Munich, McMaster and Strachan. Who will ever forget it? Right, guys, I'm going to call it a night. So we will be back tomorrow with the preview show ahead of the Celtic game. There'll be no watch-along show. And we will be back with a review on Wednesday with Andrew Budge for the Celtic game as well. So I hope you can join me tomorrow night for the preview. And enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy your day tomorrow, considering it's a Monday and everybody's back to work. So take good care of yourselves. Thank you so much for watching as always. And I'll see you tomorrow night. Stand free.